tell you one thing. I don't really know who they is. They might be better than me. They're not outworking me. But good morning and welcome to week 1 of the 2025 college football season. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'll tell you this, Auburn fans and Georgia Tech fans better pipe the fuck down. Y'all got problems, issues, and situations. God dang. Lucky y'all won, eh? Did Auburn really give up 500 yards to Baylor? God dang. Jackson Arnold out here doing his Alex Orgy impersonation last night. I said, look at this. UNLV done traded Alex Orgy to Auburn. But nobody cares about yesterday, at least not till tomorrow when we do the Your Season Is Over video. We have games today. Who's winning these games today? What about Clemson or LSU? Let me know. Ohio State or Texas? Let me know. How about which one of these two orange yard turds are going to win today? Tennessee or Syracuse? Money line on what? You bet I didn't bet the money line on what? 35 thumbs up is not enough for week one. Not enough. Hit the thumbs up. Come on, man. Thumbs up for Lee Corso's last ever headgear pick today. Thumbs up if you think Texas is going to win. Now, thumbs up if you think Ohio State's going to win. All right, that should cover everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Welcome to week one. Well, kind of. Week one started on Thursday, right? But it is Saturday. We have a full slate of games today, kicking off at noon with one of the biggest week one games in college football history. Number 1 versus number 3 in the AP poll. Number 1 versus number 2 in the coaches poll. Texas on the road at Ohio State. Arch Manning versus Julian Sayin. Steve Sarkisian versus Ryan Day. These two teams played, 8 months ago? In the playoffs. Ohio State, of course, came out on top on their way to winning a national championship. Regular season matchup today in Columbus. College Game Day is there. Big Noon Kickoff is there. Dave Portnoy is not there. Well, y'all some soft motherfuckers, man, with the Ohio State deal. I'm sorry. That's bad there. That's bad. Dave Portnoy said something mean about us one time. He's not allowed in there. So, yeah, Texas, Ohio State at noon. Tennessee and Syracuse also coming up at noon. So get your first look at G5 Joey in a Voltard helmet today at noon. That's a neutral site game, I believe, for reasons unknown. Yeah, Tennessee's about a 14-point favorite in that one. Is that too many points? Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. Coming up at 3:30, Florida State and Alabama kick things off. Florida State's had a lot of dumb shit to say over the last month, and today it's time to make good on that. Castellanos or Lanos or whatever your name is, bud. You have to play them today, my guy. Not going to work out, I don't think, for the FSU man today. But they host Florida State. Florida State also about a 2-touchdown favorite today in that one. Georgia and Marshall play at 3:30. Whoopity-doo! Boy, the beginning of Georgia's schedule this year is horrific. Marshall and Austin P. There's nothing to get excited about if you're a Georgia fan till week 3, unless you're like me and you're just a giant college football fan, in which case you can watch these games today. And, all you got to do is check the Georgia game at the end and make sure nobody got hurt. That's all you really got to do. Actually, if you're a Georgia fan, you got kind of lucky with the scheduling today, didn't you? If you're a Georgia fan, you only need 2 TVs today to watch the Georgia game, right? The Florida State-Alabama game at 3:30 is really the only big game on at 3:30. So if you've got a multi-TV setup, or if you've got like YouTube TV where you can do the split screen, you can actually keep an eye on the Georgia game while you watch the way more interesting game, Florida State and Alabama. And then, of course, in prime time tonight, we've got LSU on the road to take on the Taters, a top 10 matchup, top 5 according to some. Not me, though, because I've got LSU at 10. Yeah. And I've got Clemson at 4. So now, as far as Ohio State and Texas goes, I have that as a 2 versus 3 matchup. I'm mentally retarded. Most of you are well aware of that by now, and I've got Penn State ranked number 1. But we're going to talk about all of today's games. Of course, any breaking news before these games might kick off, we'll cover that. We'll talk about the best games, the best bets, and the best food that we can eat today on our football Saturday, whether you're heading up to the game and doing some tailgating. Maybe you're going to a watch party somewhere, or maybe you're hosting your own, or maybe you're just sitting home watching college football by yourself today. But we need to know what everybody's planning on eating. Of course, that's one of my favorite parts of college football Saturday, so we'll talk about that today. We also have the rigged wheel coming up at the end of the show. We did have a winner last week, by the way, on the rigged wheel. I'm drawing a blank right now on who it was. I apologize for that. But I sent them their money either Saturday or Sunday last week. So we'll do the rigged wheel again at the end of the show today. If you would like to have your name placed on the rigged wheel and you want to help support the show through Cash App or PayPal, we will get your name added to the wheel. The PayPal and Cash App links, of course, are in the description of the video. I will post them in the comment section a few times throughout the show, but any PayPal or Cash App that you send to help support the show today will get your name added to the rigged wheel. What is the rigged wheel, you say? Uncle Lou, I'm new around here. I love your channel, bud. But what in the hell is this rigged wheel deal that you keep going on and on about? That's a fair question if you're new. The rigged wheel is exactly what it sounds like. It's a rigged wheel. You see this wheel here? It spins round. It spins round and round like that. Where it lands, nobody knows. That's not true. I know. I do know. Right now, it lands on Jamie P. Of course, these are last week's names. So unfortunately, we have to delete these. It's a sad situation, but it's what we have to do. Win the rigged wheel. But any Cash App or PayPal to help support the show this morning, get your name added to the wheel just like this. At the end of the show, we'll spin the wheel just like that. Whatever name the wheel lands on, this is the easiest thing ever, guys. Whatever name the wheel lands on, all you have to do is pick one winner today. That's it. Now, I've been reading, I've had a YouTube channel for 11 years, and for all 11 years, I've been reading your comments, and every single one of you has never got a game wrong. Every Sunday in my comment section, you guys run in there and tell me about every game you picked right the day before. You guys are the best football bettors and football pickers on the planet. So I'm 100% confident that you can pick one winner. And if the wheel lands on your name, that's what you get to do. And if you are correct, then Uncle Lou will send you back twice whatever you sent me. Please don't send more than $25. This is not meant to be any type of gambling or anything like that. It's just a way to try to reward those of you who help to support the show. That's it. So you're not going to get rich off of this. Let's keep it at $25. There we go. Does that make sense to everyone? It should. All right, shout out to the sponsor of this morning's show, Sleeper. Download Sleeper today. They're going to give you a 100% match on your deposit up to $100. Head on over to the Sleeper app. Pick yourself some winners today. I picked some winners yesterday with the help of the comments section. I will pull that up in a few minutes here and show you what that is. Let's switch the screen back over. Yeah, there we go. That looks a lot better. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the show this morning. The #1 daily fantasy app on the internet. Download Sleeper today. You'll be glad you did. It is available in Georgia and over 30 other states. So check it out. Big shout out to the fine people over at Sleeper for helping to support the show. Use promo code LOU when you download that Sleeper app, and they're going to give you a 100% match on your deposit up to $100. The link is in the description. It is also the pinned comment. There you go. There you go. No, I do not accept alternate lines for the rigged wheel, sir, because it pays out 1-to-1. I don't alter the payout based on what line you want. We look up the current line, and whatever the current line is, that's the pick you get on the rigged wheel. Let's take roll. I want to know who's here and hanging out this morning on week one. One of the best week ones probably in college football history. Two great games last night with Auburn defeating Baylor by a couple of touchdowns and Georgia Tech hanging on to beat Colorado. Georgia Tech survived probably the biggest step on a rake type opening to a game you'll ever see. It's unbelievable to me that a team can go on the road, turn the ball over on their first 3 possessions of the game, and still win the game. But that's what Georgia Tech did. Colorado offensively is in a bad way. Georgia Tech turned the ball over on their first 3 possessions and only came away with 7 points, and that was on the turnover Georgia Tech had in their own red zone. So even that touchdown drive was only about a 20-yard drive. Colorado offensively has got problems and situations. Auburn, although they won, some serious red flags for the barn. They gave up 500 yards of offense to something called Baylor. Jackson Arnold only had 108 yards passing, which is an absolute shame given the wide receiver room that team has. If you're a wide receiver in high school right now, you're going to have to start thinking twice about considering Auburn as a destination. They've got some great wide receivers, but we're in year 3 of the Hugh Freeze experiment there, and he's yet to find a quarterback that can complete a forward pass. It's alarming as shit. Auburn's best play is to have Jackson Arnold drop back to pass and then run for his life. Their offensive line was absolutely terrible yesterday in pass protection. Jackson Arnold was an absolute magician in the pocket, though, eluding the pressure, scrambling and taking off for I don't even know how many, 10, 15, 20-yard runs. So as bad as he was passing the ball, he made up for that with his legs, and Auburn gets a win. I still think it's a good win for Auburn. Look, Auburn's not a great team or a great program. They haven't had a winning record since before COVID. They've lost 7 games for 3 years in a row. Hugh Freeze has yet to have a winning record there. So I don't want to this is a good win for Auburn to go on the road and beat any Power 4 opponent at this point where they're at now is a good win. But, boy, you look down the road at Auburn at some of the teams they have to face, and there's not too many defenses that Auburn plays that's going to let a one-dimensional Auburn beat them where their only real play is for Jackson Arnold to, run around like backyard football. That's not going to happen against the majority of teams Auburn plays. So they got to figure something out in the passing game, and that offensive line needs to get better. But Auburn did get the win. Georgia Tech got the win. I was disappointed in Georgia Tech, too, to be honest. Now, again, they turned the ball over on their first 3 possessions, so to get a win at all is a miracle. But you would expect it a little more, I think, out of Georgia Tech yesterday. But they did get the win, so there you go. All right, let's take roll. Jay Shipes is here. Stefan Ballier. Abiento. Ademan. Jumapel Lou. In that. Pompon Keski La Se Alicia Nel Mamzella. Good morning. Freedom Fries, my guy. Roll Tide 99, Biggs Mike, Gunner, Young Citrus, John Williams, Pastor Dave, somebody that can't even be bothered to make up a real username. So they just literally called themselves username. MC Carey T, David, TD Dogs, my apologies, TD Dogs, Jay Shipes, Stingray, Kyle, Corn Dog, Biggs Mike, Jeremy Garrettson, Paul's Quest, LV, Pastor Dave, Blake B, Let the Big Dog Eat. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I'll check all the Cash Apps and PayPals at the end of the show to get everybody's name added to the wheel, Dula. I'll check them all. I'll do it all at the end of the show. Georgia Man, Brandon, Andrew S, Gunner. The Buckeyes are so soft it took 5 of them to raise the Natty Trophy, says Stefan Ballier. How's the weather in France this morning, Mr. Ballier? How's it going over there today? Ben Mantooth. Come on, man. Octavian is here, because of course he is. Sir UGA, Anthony Swift. Octavian, you headed to Waffle House today, bud? I bet you are. Florida's going to be celebrating a big victory. Remember last year when Tennessee played a couple of cans of corn early in the season and won by like 50 and 60 points, and they were doing onside kicks in the second quarter against FCS teams when they were up 40 points, and then they bragged about how great they were and all that, and then didn't win shit. Didn't make the SEC championship game, didn't win no playoff games, none of that. Florida's going to be doing that. I'm just telling y'all now. After that, they play Long Island today, and they're going to run around the internet all this week talking about how amazing they are for beating Long Island. I'm just warning y'all of that ahead of time. Daniel Henry, Muffin, Eric Odom, Rudy wins big bowls. Good to see you in here. Kyle Parker says Sunbelt Billy forever. We hope so, don't we? We certainly hope Florida gives them a lifetime extension. That would be amazing for the rest of the SEC and all of college football, really. It'd be good for everybody except Florida. Yeah, it sure would. Broski's here. What's up, buddy? Broski, you're a Penn State fan, aren't you? I'd be curious to see. I don't know. I'm either going to go down with the ship or be right about the Penn State thing this year. We'll see. I'm high on Penn State, though. Eyes for the Wise is present. All right, let me mark you down. All right, Eyes for the Wise is present. All right, I got you marked down, sir. Badgers for life. Mike Luca, buddy, I was talking about you last night, my guy. What in the world did Wake Forest do yesterday, sir? What in God's name was that, bud? Holy moly. Y'all got issues, don't you? Jay Shipes, Hogman, Beard God, Kel says, go Canes. They have a big game tomorrow, right? Miami and Notre Dame tomorrow. Yeah. Thoughts on Bryce Underwood starting? I've been called that since February. I mean, I think everybody, that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, I don't think. I mean, I think everybody pretty much saw that coming. Doesn't really matter what he does today. I think it's good they have they get a warm-up game today. That's good. Whenever you're starting a first-year starting quarterback, it's good to have one of these sort of nothing-burger games. But next week is when people can start to draw conclusions about Bryce Underwood, right? They play Oklahoma on the road. Michigan does next week. Yeah. Yeah. It's not our fault that UGA can develop wide receivers. That's true. UGA does develop wide receivers. In fact, last year in the NFL, Georgia had 2 players with more receiving yards than any Ohio State player in all of the NFL. And Ohio State, of course, is wide receiver U. I don't dispute that. They've got 4 or 5 NFL wide receivers on their roster at any given point. But that's a great point about Georgia developing wide receivers. And even though it was a typo and you didn't mean to type that, what you typed is actually true. Yes, Georgia develops wide receivers. They had 2 players in the NFL last year with more receiving yards than any Ohio State player or any Texas player for that matter, since you're a Shorthorn man. So, yeah, thank you for pointing that out, even though you didn't mean to, which of course gives you our first award of the day. 5-star dummy. Yeah, you stepped on a giant fucking rake and knotted up your whole forehead there, bud. Good job. That's amazing. Keep up the good work, Shorthorn man. Tyler P., thank you for the super chat. He says, LSU gets it done today. Woo. I'm on Clemson. I haven't bet the Texas-Ohio State game, and I haven't bet the LSU-Clemson game. And I might not, but I might, because those are such great games. I might not bet them just so I can just watch the game and not have to root one way or the other based on something I bet on, just because I think those are just both going to be such great games. Now, I say that now, but of course, where is it? I say that now that I might not bet on the games, but of course, you already know I'm the world's biggest degenerate. So that's easy for me to say that now. By the time it gets like 5 minutes to kick off on each of those two games, my hands will be shaking and my palms will be sweating, and I'll probably end up having to put a bet in anyway. But those are going to be great games. I went with Clemson. LSU winning wouldn't surprise me at all. I went with Texas in the noon game. Ohio State winning wouldn't surprise me at all, so we'll see. Woe Todd 99 says, this goes out from Woe to you. Thank you, Woe. Good to see you in here, Mr. Todd. Nerd Stop, thank you for the super chat. He says, I'm here to spread the good word of Missouri State beating the brakes off of USC. And I'm here to introduce you to reality. But while that would be funny, maybe, it's of course not happening. Yeah, unfortunately for you there. Biggs Mike, thank you for the super chat. He says, MVP performance on last night's live stream. I'm going to go ahead and agree with you there. I'm more than made up from my lackluster showing Thursday night during the Nebraska-Cincinnati game, when, of course, I was in a bad way because I didn't get any sleep the night before on account of heading up to the casino on Wednesday and staying up till 4 in the morning. Again, but because of this, and accidentally wandering into the high-limit room and playing roulette for $1,000 a spin, which is one of the worst ideas I've ever had. There's no question about it. It was a terrible idea, but it is what it is. You know, what can I do about it now? Nothing. Rudy Wins Big Bowl says Hard Rock Stadium will be half empty by halftime. Oh, yeah? Miami going to be blowing them out and just leave early? Nah, I picked Notre Dame in that one. I took Notre Dame, but that's another one that I think is going to be a great game. First look at Carson Beck in a Miami uniform. Notre Dame, of course, has a first-year starter in C.J. Carr. Is that his first name? I think it's C.J. Carr. Jeremiah Love, running back for Notre Dame. I think one of the best running backs in the country, maybe the best running back in the country. We'll see how improved Miami's defense is or isn't in that game against Notre Dame. It's going to be a good one. Jay Shipe says, cheers to the chat. Cheers to you, Jay Shipes, one of the few people I know that still, at our age, drinks beer first thing in the morning. Shout out to you, Jay. I don't know how you do it. You have the stomach of a billy goat, bud. Yeah, it's impressive. It really is. I'm so excited for today's games, guys. I almost feel bad. Today is Lee Corso's last appearance on College Game Day. And for any college football fan that's my age, you've been watching Lee Corso for 30 years. Lee Corso, to me, is as much a part of my college football experience as teams winning and losing, or the food that I eat on game days, or anything else that I do associated with college football. I can't separate college football and Lee Corso in my mind. Like, they're connected. I've been watching College Game Day since the early to mid-'90s. And there's so many big games here coming up in week one. And of course, we've spent a lot of time talking about it. I almost feel like the Lee Corso thing is getting kind of overshadowed a little. Now, that won't be the case on College Game Day today. The majority of the show, or a big portion of the show, I'm sure, is going to be dedicated to Lee Corso, and it should be. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to watching the last 30 minutes or so of Game Day to sort of see Lee Corso's last hurrah on there. He did a lot for the world of college football. I mean, when they first started doing Game Day back in the 90s, college football was not what it is today. College Game Day in general, and Lee Corso specifically, I think, have done a lot to grow the game of college football. And there's really no way to overestimate the impact that College Game Day had on college football and college football fans like myself, especially those of you who are anywhere close to my age or a little older, who have been literally watching Lee Corso on Game Day for, what seems like forever. So I'm looking forward to watching the end of College Game Day. today. And one last ride for Lee Corso. Who's he going to pick in his headgear pick? I have a theory on it. I think he's going to pick Ohio State. Maybe he really thinks Ohio State's going to win the game. I don't know. I mean, that's not a crazy thing to think. It's going to be a great game. I don't think he wants to get booed in his last ever college game day appearance. So I feel like he's going to go with Ohio State just to sort of, endear himself to the crowd there. But we'll see. But we'll see. I have a feeling he's going to go with Ohio State for his headgear pick, but we'll see. I picked Texas, but again, that's going to be an amazing game. That's going to be an amazing game, I think. All right, I'm going to pull up the schedule of games. We're going to go through them and look at them. We'll look at the latest lines and odds on the games, try to figure out a way maybe to make or lose, perhaps, some money on these college football games today. Again, the rigged wheel will be coming up at the end of the show if you'd like to get your name on the wheel for a chance to double your money by picking just one game right. That's all you have to do. Pick any game, and I don't even tell you, you pick any game you want. All you got to do is pick one game right, double your money. Get your name on the rigged wheel. The links are in the description of the video. There is the PayPal and the Cash App. I cannot do the rigged wheel for the Super Chats. YouTube views that as a raffle. And I'm not allowed to use Super Chats as like a raffle. YouTube has a rule against that, so it's got to be a Cash App or a PayPal. But there you go. All right, let's pull up the schedule of games. Let's figure out what do we need to watch, when do we need to watch it, what channel is it coming on, all that stuff, and see if we can't figure out some ways to make some money today with these games. All right, right out of the gate here, Texas on the road at Ohio State. This game, of course, comes on at 12 on Fox, much to the chagrin of the Ohio State man, who, of course, is had it up to here with the noon games and Fox in general, really. Massive game. Arch Manning has some experience. He started a couple of games. He's played in a lot of games, but he's the full-time starter now with Quinn Ewers gone off to the NFL. Ohio State also starting a new quarterback, Julian Sayin, who has almost no experience at all. Ohio State also has two brand new coordinators, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. So that's a new quarterback, two new coordinators. They lost their top two running backs. They lost a wide receiver. Of course, they're not hurting there. They're absolutely loaded at wide receiver. They lost a few key pieces from last year's defense, but when you recruit in the top five every year like Ohio State does, it's probably not a huge concern. But there is a lot more new at Ohio State this year than there is at Texas, and that is the main reason I went with Texas in this game. The changing of coordinators. Sometimes it takes, at least into the second half of the season, sometimes into the second year of a new coordinator before things really start to click with that. If you look at Ohio State when they brought Jim Knowles in, their defense improved a little bit the first year under Jim Knowles, but that second year they took a massive jump forward. And so anyway, they two new coordinators, new quarterback, lost their top two running backs. Texas lost some too, but I feel like Texas lost less than Ohio State did. Their coaching staff is mostly intact. That to me, that was the deciding factor on why I went with Texas there. The line right now sits at Ohio State -1.5. So they're favored by 1.5. Ohio State is. Also coming up at noon on ABC, we've got Syracuse versus Tennessee in a neutral site game. This game played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Tennessee's a 13.5-point favorite, and that line really hasn't moved. It got to 14 a time or two, but it's been at 13.5 or 14 really since a couple of months ago when the early lines came out. I expect Tennessee to win the game. They also have a new quarterback this year, G5 Joey. He does have a ton of experience, although it's G5 experience. Syracuse, a new quarterback after losing Kyle McCord to the NFL draft last year. They got Notre Dame's backup. What's his name? Steve Angeli, I believe is his name. Will get the start today for Syracuse. Syracuse also lost their leading wide receiver. Tennessee, on the other hand, lost all three. They lost their three leading receivers from last year. So they lost their top three receivers, Tennessee did. They lost their best player, running back Dylan Sampson, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, led the SEC in rushing last year. He's gone. And they, of course, lost Nico the day before the spring game. We all know what happened there. So we'll see what that means for Tennessee. I still think they're going to have a good defense this year. They lost James Pierce, who might have been their best player, but they have Gerard McCoy. And what's the guy's name that doesn't even want to be there? This is a funny situation. It's a weird situation. Boo Carter does not want to play for Tennessee. I mean, that's one of the most obvious things I've ever seen. This guy does not want to play for Tennessee, but he's there, and he's going to play. And his mom hates it. His mom is all over Twitter trashing Tennessee for the last 60 days. It's a hilarious situation to me. It wouldn't be funny if it was happening to my favorite team, but since it's happening to someone else, specifically Tennessee, I find it absolutely hilarious. That one of their best players on defense has no interest at all in even being there or playing for Tennessee. His mom hates the university and everything about it. It's just a weird situation there. Tennessee fans are on the internet every day arguing with this kid's mom. It's just really strange. Well, Tennessee Twitter in general is strange. Tennessee fans are the worst fan base on Twitter. I don't even know who else comes in second place, but Tennessee, the way Tennessee fans, and not all of them, but a lot of them, the way they act on Twitter, they really ought to be ashamed of themselves. Of course, they're not, because they're hiding behind fake names and profile pictures and anonymous accounts. But the Tennessee fan base on Twitter is an absolute embarrassment to the human race. That's really it at noon. You got a couple other interesting games. Mississippi State at Southern Miss that's only interesting to me in that Mississippi State could lose that game. Now, I don't think they are. Neither does Vegas. They're favored by 14.5, but Southern Miss has a new head coach. The Marshall coach from last year left Marshall, went to Southern Miss. If Mississippi State were to lose this game, Jeff Lebby's going to be in a bad way. I don't expect that to happen. I think Mississippi State will win, but it might be worth keeping an eye on in the second half if it's close. What else do we have here? Nothing really at noon. Kentucky hosts Toledo. What if they lose? Toledo beat an SEC team last year. Who did Toledo beat last year? Trivia question. Toledo beat an SEC team last year. Who was it? If you said Arkansas, I think you're right. Didn't Toledo beat Arkansas last year? I think they did. No, the Ohio State fans are not worse on Twitter than Tennessee. They're not. Tennessee fans are the worst fan base on Twitter. It's not. Whoever is second, it's not close. Oh, Toledo beat Mississippi State last year. Okay, Toledo beat Mississippi State last year. Okay, well, today they get a chance to beat Kentucky. We'll see if they can do it. Beat the SEC 2 years in a row. We'll see. Holy Toledo if that happens. Holy Toledo. What else do we have? West Virginia, Rich Rod making his head coaching, well, not debut because he coached for West Virginia 20 years ago, but he's making his return to Morgantown today. West Virginia hosting Robert Morris, whatever that is. Kurt Signetti with their first opportunity to embarrass themselves today at home against Old Dominion. They're a huge favorite. Indiana is. Indiana has a lot of losses coming this season. I don't think today is one of them. Penn State plays at 3:30. All right, we're into the afternoon games now. All of these games will be on Patreon, by the way. So those of you who are on the Patreon page, we watched Ohio State and Kansas State last week. We had a great time over there. We always have a great time on the Patreon streams. The noon games today will be the Patreon streams. So that's Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Syracuse. And then I'll probably just keep the Patreon stream going through the 3:30 games. Which will be Florida State versus Alabama. Georgia plays Marshall. We're fixing to look at all the 3:30 games now. So the Patreon stream today will basically be noon to 7 o'clock on Patreon. There's the link right there. It's also in the description of the video. Check out the Patreon page. We have a really good time over there on those game streams. We give money away. We have a great time over there. We pay for somebody's membership today. We did it last week. We'll do it again today. But come hang out with us on the Patreon stream. We have a really, really good time. All right, let's get back to the schedule of games. Like I mentioned at 3:30, of course, you've got Georgia hosting Marshall. Georgia's a huge favorite, 38.5 points. Marshall's in a bad way. Their head coach sort of left them high and dry at the end of last season to take the Southern Miss job. And when he left, so did the entire team. They all hit the portal. They've got about 60 transfer players this year. Marshall does. They were a good team last year. They went 10-3. I think they tied for second in Conference USA, or something like that. They were 10-3 last year. I don't think they're going to be anywhere close to that this year. They're going to be a pretty bad team. I'd be surprised if they hang around long with Georgia. Alabama on the road at Florida State. Another interesting game. Now, Alabama's favored by 14.5, and not too many people on the internet think this is going to be a close game. It would be hilarious. This is a candidate potentially for the funniest loss of the day. If for some reason Alabama were to lose this game, it would probably be the funniest loss of the day, which is, of course, something I'll always look for. There are always funny losses, some more funny than others. This has the potential to be the funniest loss of the day. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Alabama will win. There's a lot of talk about Florida State being mad and angry and having something to prove after last year, and all that might be true. But Alabama's mad and angry and looking to prove something after last year too, going 9-3 in Kalen DeBoer's first year, missing the playoffs, a couple of bad losses to Vandy and Oklahoma. Jalen Milroe's gone. The Ty Simpson era kicks off today. So I mean, it's not like they've been skating through the offseason. I mean, they are a little upset too. On top of that, you've got the comments that Florida State quarterback Tommy Castellanos made during the offseason, and just I don't know. It feels like Florida State's going to get run over in this game, but we'll see. They turned their roster over again through the portal, and they've got some talented players. Florida State does, but they had talented players last year, and they went 2-10. They had talented players the year before that, and they went 13-1. I have a feeling this year's Florida State team probably lands in the middle. 7 wins, 8 wins. I don't think this will be one of them, but it comes on at 3:30. We'll be on Patreon hanging out and watching that one. Nothing much else at 3:30, really. Oregon plays at 4 against Montana State, and unless you expect them to struggle for the second year in a row against one of these criminal and hiding states, Montana's like Idaho. If someone lives in Montana, I just assume they're hiding from the authorities. I just don't know any other reason to live there. But we'll see. What's his name, the quarterback for Oregon? Dante Moore getting the start at quarterback for Oregon. That's today at 4. Oklahoma plays at 6. They host Illinois State. Should blow them out. John Mateer, get our first look at him. You think John Mateer bet on Oklahoma today? Don't know. We'll have to wait and check his Venmo later. Iowa hosts UA of Albany. Nobody cares about that. Or University of Albany. Florida, 7 o'clock. So we're getting into the primetime games now. So the primetime games will be on YouTube. So right here on this channel tonight, we'll hang out and watch all these primetime games starting at around 7 or 7:30. Florida is hosting Long Island University. They're favored by 1 million. I told you at the beginning of the show what's going to happen after this game. Florida's going to win this game by a lot. DJ Lagway's going to look good. And the Florida fans are going to be on Twitter for the next 6 days telling you how right they were and that Florida's going 1-0 because they beat Long Island University. Same thing Tennessee did last year early in the year when they were kicking onside kicks against FCS teams in the second quarter up 40 points. They blow all these teams out, these nobodies, and then they get to SEC play and can't get a first down. Similar situation on deck this year for Florida. North Dakota's on the road at Kansas State. Kansas State needs to have a good game today. I know it's North Dakota, and they should win, and that's fine. Is Dylan Edwards playing? I don't know. The running back that twisted his ankle last week, but they lost to Iowa State last week. They'll get the win today. We'll see how they look. Texas A&M is hosting UTSA. This has potential to be interesting. UTSA is not a pushover. Of course, neither is Texas A&M. They're favored by 23.5, but we'll see on that one. Vandy hosts Charleston Southern. These are all the primetime games. Getting into the 7:30 games, of course, that's the big one tonight. LSU on the road at Clemson. Winner gets to claim Death Valley permanently from now to the end of time. That's how I'm calling it here, at least on this channel. The winner of this game becomes the real Death Valley. If the loser of this game tries to claim Death Valley on this channel, no more. Only the winner can claim Death Valley. Garrett Nussmeier versus Cade Klubnik, two of the best returning quarterbacks in all of college football. Brian Kelly versus Dabo Swinney, which is a coaching mismatch of biblical proportions. Brian Kelly struggles huge, bigly too, in big games, and this is a big game. I went with Clemson, the home team. They're favored by 4.5. Michigan, first look at Bryce Underwood. They host New Mexico. Again, not many people are going to be paying attention to that, but next week, Michigan plays on the road at Oklahoma. That'll be Bryce Underwood's first real test, I think, next week. Texas Tech hosts Arkansas Pine Bluff, Southern Cal, Missouri State tonight at 7:30. Ole Miss hosts Georgia State. BY Lou, no longer the BY Jew, he transferred, but so back to being BY Lou. BY Lou hosting Portland State for reasons unknown. SMU hosting East Texas A&M. What are we doing? What are we doing? Don't know. Arizona State hosting Northern Arizona. How will they look without Cam Scattaboo? I think they'll look pretty good. They returned 10 starters on one of the best defenses in the Big 12 last year. The quarterback is back. They've got 2 NFL wide receivers. Arizona State's going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Utah on the road at UCLA, I think, is an interesting game. Now, this is the nightcap, the sort of old school Pac-12 after dark, even though this isn't a Pac-12 game anymore. It used to be a Pac-12 game. Now it's a Big 10 versus Big 12 game for no reason. For zero discernible reason. This is a Big 12 versus Big 10 game. Nico, the quarterback for UCLA. Utah, a whole new offense this year, including a new offensive coordinator and quarterback. They had a disastrous season last year. Utah did. They only won 2 conference games their first year in the Big 12. I expect them to have a big improvement this year. I like Utah to get the win on the road at UCLA. And Colorado State at Washington also comes on tonight at 11 over on the Big Ten Network. So there you go. That's your rundown of games, the updated lines, all the current odds on the games. What do y'all think about that slate of games? It's pretty good. It's hard to complain about today's slate of games. Now, next week, week 2, dog shit on a paper plate. Outside of the Michigan-Oklahoma game next week, there's nothing to excite you. Not really. Not really. But we can complain about that next week. No sense in complaining about it now. No sense in complaining about it now. We have great games. We have great games today. What's the best pick of the day against the spread? Like your lock of the week or whatever, lock of the century, whatever people. If you had to bet your last dollar on one of those games today against the spread, which one are you betting? As far as the big games are concerned, I think as far as how confident I am, I think I like Clemson. Second most confident, I maybe take Florida or maybe take Alabama. Third most confident, maybe Texas. But boy, they're going to be great games. Syracuse, I like Syracuse. I bought it up to plus 14. The Syracuse line. South Carolina, well, that game's tomorrow. I like South Carolina too. I'm betting South Carolina tomorrow at around the 7 or 8 points. We didn't talk about that one, but we can because we're not doing this show tomorrow. So Virginia Tech at South Carolina, 3 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN. South Carolina's favored by 7.5. I think they're going to blow Virginia Tech out. I really think they're going to blow Virginia Tech out. I don't think this is going to be close. The Notre Dame-Miami game is also tomorrow. That's the primetime game at 7:30. So I'll be streaming again tomorrow. Virginia Tech and South Carolina right here on YouTube. Miami and Notre Dame will be the Patreon stream tomorrow. So if you get signed up for Patreon today, you'll get Ohio State, Texas, and Tennessee, Syracuse at noon. You'll get Florida State and Alabama at 3:30. And you'll get Miami, Notre Dame tomorrow night at 7:30. If you get signed up on the Patreon page. The Monday night game is the Bill Belichick Bowl. TCU on the road at North Carolina. TCU, a 3.5 point favorite. I'm not going to be betting that one. You don't know what to expect from North Carolina. I mean, I don't expect them to be a great team, but I don't necessarily expect TCU to be a great team either. And it's hard to prepare for this game if you're TCU. You know what's funny? Deion Sanders, when he got hired by Colorado, Colorado's first game under Deion Sanders was against who? TCU. Everybody and their brother was on TCU to win that game, and what happened? Colorado won. TCU had no way to prepare for that game. You had no clue what type of offense or defense or schemes or philosophies or anything that Colorado was going to do, and it's a similar situation here for TCU having to play North Carolina on the road, by the way. TCU lost that game to Colorado at home a couple of years ago. This one's on the road at North Carolina. I'm going to pick TCU to win, but I'm not going to bet on it. I'm not going to bet on it. You could see something weird happen in that game there, and I ain't got no interest in that. No interest in that. You know what I do have interest in? The Sleeper app, and you should have interest in it too. Download the Sleeper app today. #1 daily fantasy sports app on the internet. use promo code Lou, and they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. That's right. You heard it. You heard me right. I didn't stutter and I didn't stumble too.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code LOU. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Come on, man. I know it says call your shot there at the end, but the way they have the little man there instead of the letter O, it looks like it says call your shit. Well, I called my shit yesterday. I called my shit yesterday over on the Sleeper app. I sure did. I sure did. Where is it? There it is. What did I do yesterday? So yesterday, or last night actually, during the live stream last night, I had the chat help me pick out a play here on the Sleeper app. Here's what we went with. Y'all can tell me how retarded this is, or what are my chances here. I have Zachariah Branch, former 5-star at Southern Cal, who transferred to Georgia in the offseason. He's going to start at slot receiver today for Georgia. More than 43.5 receiving yards. I like that. I mean, he could get that on one catch. You know, Georgia, like everybody else, 10 times today, whoever your favorite team is, 10 times today, your team's quarterback is going to snap the ball and then immediately throw it to a wide receiver behind the line of scrimmage. And you're going to yell about it. I do it too. But did you watch the 2 games last night? In those 2 games last night, 2 games, 4 teams, all 4 of those teams snap the ball, throw it to a wide receiver behind the line of scrimmage 5 to 10 times a game. Georgia will do that. Zachariah Branch could get 43 yards on one catch. So I like over 43.5 yards there. What about Nicholas Harbor, the sort of hybrid tight end wide receiver for South Carolina? Now, I'm really high. I think he's going to have a breakout year. He's been running track at South Carolina, which has hindered his development in the spring. He quit that. Full-time football for Nick Harbor all this year. Lenore Sellers at quarterback. I think they're going to have a great chemistry this year. I've got Nicholas Harbor tomorrow against Virginia Tech over 49.5 receiving yards. I like that. I think those 2 can hit. In the LSU Clemson game tonight, I've got both quarterbacks. I've got Garrett Nussmeier under 283.5 passing yards, and I have Cade Klubnik over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I don't know that Clemson's going to be able to run the ball. I don't know that Clemson has a legitimate running back. But they got a legitimate quarterback and 2 elite wide receivers. So I'm going over 1.5 passing touchdowns for Cade Klubnik. Also, a little birdie told me that LSU might be without one of their starting safeties. Is that true? And how mad does that make you? Why is LSU fans mad about that? You've got 100 people on the LSU staff, at least, by the time you account for coaches, assistants, analysts, off-field people that sit in a closet and study film. There's 100 people on that staff. Not one of them was smart enough to look into this situation. LSU fans need to quit blaming some Clemson beat reporter or whoever it is, LSU. This is LSU's fault that they didn't know. It's the players' fault for fighting in a game last year, and it's LSU's fault for acting or not knowing. That's their fault. That is dereliction of duty by your coaching staff. They didn't do their due diligence in that. You might say they didn't do their Lou diligence, too. That's their fault. Anyway, what are my chances on hitting this here? What did I do? I did, so it was $10 to win 80 if it hits. $10 to win 80 if it hits. I mean, it's not the worst pick. That's not the worst pick. I mean, it's hard to hit 4 of anything, But I like all 4 of those picks. The chat helped me pick those last night. So shout out to the chat, especially if it hits. Yeah. You can make some picks today, too. Download that Sleeper app. It's a lot of fun. It makes watching the games a lot more interesting. I had another one on there last night that had Jamal Haynes over 73.5 rushing yards. And he had 60 rushing yards entering the fourth quarter. He only needed 14. Jamal Haynes only needed 14 rushing yards for Georgia Tech in the fourth quarter for it to go over. And he only got 8. He ended with 68 yards, so ended up losing. But it does make watching the games a little bit more interesting. So check out the Sleeper app. They're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Make sure you use that promo code Lou. And shout out to the good people over at Sleeper for helping to support the channel this season right here on LouTube. All right, we got to talk about food, y'all. We got to talk about food. Boiled peanuts in college football, just like Lee Corso. It's just hand in hand. Bought a 10-pound bag of raw green peanuts yesterday and boiled up a huge batch of boiled peanuts in I absolutely love. The whole house was smelling like boiled peanuts. If I go somewhere and smell boiled peanuts, immediately in my mind, it makes me think of college football. I don't know what it is. I've been boiling peanuts week 1 of the college football season every year for as long as I can remember. I love boiled peanuts, and it's just something about the smell. But boiled peanuts just remind me of college football. So I boiled a big batch of peanuts yesterday. I'll be snacking on those today. We also have a meatloaf. Yeah, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. That's what I'll be eating around lunchtime today, probably. And as far as what I'm doing tonight, I haven't decided. So I'm hoping some of y'all have some suggestions, or maybe let me know what y'all are snacking on today or eating today for your football food, and maybe I'll see something and I'll go, yeah, that. I need to get that for dinner tonight. So what are y'all eating today? What are y'all eating on today? Week 1 of the college football season. Aaron Haywood says he only eats steak. It must be nice, buddy. That must be nice. I can't afford to only eat steak. I do love steak, though. Chick-fil-A. Marlon Mealer doing the Chick-fil-A potato salad dip. Now, I've never heard of that. Is that a thing? What kind of chips do you use with potato? I love potato salad, but I've never thought of it as a dip before. Chipotle, pork gyoza, don't know what that is. Over easy eggs and ranch dressing. Jalapeno popper is one of my favorite football snacks. We do the homemade ones. You cut the jalapeno in half, hollow it out, stuff it full of cream cheese, wrap a piece of bacon around it, stick it in the oven. You can't go wrong with those. Lobster rolls, damn, Jackpot. Jackpot, you doing it big, ain't you? Lobster roll? God dang. We got some rich people in the chat today. Steak and lobster rolls. Wow. 30 Chick-fil-A nuggets, a gallon of lemonade, and chicken wings. Damn. If I drink, how are you going to drink a gallon of lemonade? Well, that would tear my stomach up if I drank a gallon of lemonade. I bet you I'd lose 10 pounds if I drank a gallon of lemonade. Hell, I might need to try it. Yeah. Pizza and soda, says the Texas man. Chicken feet with mustard. You might be trolling there. Either that or you're down bad. You're down bad if the best you can do is chicken feet and mustard on that deal there. Wings, Rotel dip. Rotel dip's another like staple of like, if you made like a Mount Rushmore of football food, Rotel dip and what's the buffalo chicken ranch dip? Is that the other one? Those have to be 2 of the most popular game day foods, Rotel dip and that buffalo chicken dip. Ooh, a brisket sounds good. You've been cooking it since last night, or when did you start cooking it? Gators winning the Natty. Yeah, we know, Tom. We know that. Yeah. Tri-tip sandwiches. Meatballs in the crock pot, another good one. Yeah, there it is, buffalo chicken dip. Yeah, buffalo chicken dip is Mount Rushmore game day food. Cheese, steak, and fries. Daughter wanted homemade beanie weenies in the crock pot. Boy, I want some of like everything. Sushi? All right. Dog Pride says he has Rotel dip every Saturday. Yeah, so that's just part of your game day tradition, huh? Started cooking at 8 a.m. yesterday. Damn. That thing's going to be falling apart, ain't it? Turkey Swiss sliders. That sounds good, actually, too. A weekend with shitty football is so much better than a weekend with none. This isn't shitty football. This is probably one of the best week ones we've ever had. So there's nothing shitty about this weekend's football. I can make Rotel dip. We have this. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Do we have the chips, though? Yeah, Rotel dip sounds good, lady. Yeah, I can only afford Salisbury steak. The microwave kind? Yeah, you're down bad like the chicken feet guy then. The good thing is you can go to the store and get 10 for 10 or whatever, and it 10 for $10 on that Salisbury steak. Get an early start on that diabetes you've been chasing. I'm taking Marshall by 14. That doesn't even make any sense. You're not taking Marshall by 14. Anybody that's dumb enough to take Marshall by 14 against Georgia doesn't have a dollar. So you're not taking Marshall by 14. Crab cakes. I'm not a big crab cakes fan. Now, I love crab legs. I can eat my body weight in crab legs, but I've never been a big crab cakes guy. Does anyone eat barbecue for a football weekend? Well, somebody was doing a brisket. I'll actually be surprised if Ohio State wins. I won't be surprised if they win. I mean, I'm picking Texas, but I think either team could win that game. Sadly enough, I have to expect a slow start for Georgia today, says Spank Mapleton. Well, bet Marshall first quarter then, or Marshall first half, if you truly believe that. Bet Marshall first quarter or Marshall first half. Uncle Lou, what'd you think about the movie We Are Marshall? Terrible story, great movie. No, you don't. You don't have a dollar. Let's see. For those of you that are talking about Georgia and the slow starts, let's see what the you can bet the first quarter or the first half. So let's see if y'all want to put your money where your mouth is there. I'll let you know what the line is for the first quarter and the first half. First half line for the Georgia game is 24. Georgia minus 24 in the first half. The line for the first quarter in the Georgia game is Georgia minus 10. I'm not betting the Georgia game at all. Georgia 42, Marshall 10. I could see that. I'm eating whatever they are having at the wedding I'm going to today. What in the world? Dude, why are you friends with somebody that got married today? That doesn't make any sense at all, my guy. Family? Well, they obviously don't care about you, or they wouldn't have scheduled a wedding today. So maybe you shouldn't care about them either and just don't go. Reese Davis said that he thinks Pitt is a dark horse playoff contender. Well, there's people in here that think Florida's winning the SEC. I mean, hardly anything surprises me anymore. If Georgia wins 30-17, that's a problem. Chrome Malofi, what's up, buddy? I could definitely beat up a lot of people in this chat. No, you couldn't. Anybody that types that can't beat up anybody. Not a soul. People who can beat up people don't go around the internet typing about it. So chances are you've never been in a fight. And if you have, chances are you got your ass beat. FSU Bama spread. Is it 14.5, I believe? We just looked at it a minute ago. 14.5 is the number I'm seeing right now on that one. Let me check somewhere else just to see if there's different numbers available. Sometimes it can be off by half a point or so. Some places have it at -14. So if you like Bama, 14 is a way better number than 14.5. Even at 14, if I were to bet Bama, I would probably buy it down to 13.5. What's up, Bo Hunting? Good to see you in here, dude. Georgia game, FBS 1, ? I don't even know what that means. I don't think anybody knows what that means. Don't threaten me like you I'm not threatening you. In fact, I didn't say anything to you at all. If you perceive me as a threat, then come knock on my door. Or toughen up, one of the two. Georgia Tech is overrated. I don't know. You turn the ball over 3 times on the road in the first quarter and still win, that's hard to do. That's hard to do. Bulldog Terror, thank you, buddy. It's nice to see somebody that says something kind every once in a while instead of the 3rd grade trolling shit about people who haven't left their own zip code since the day they were born. Is Coach Prime on the chopping block? No, I don't think he'll ever be fired from Colorado. He'll quit. His pride would not allow him to be fired. He would quit before that happened. Robert says, stop mistreating Uncle Lou. That's probably the best idea I've heard all day. Yeah, Caden Salter did not look good, I didn't think, at all. The quarterback for Colorado. Baylor, man, tough loss last night, buddy. I hope you had a good time at the game, though. Dion showed zero fire or enthusiasm on the sideline. I mentioned that several times during the game when they showed him. He looked dazed and confused and lost and like he didn't even want to be there. John Seabolt, thank you for the super chat. He says, what's up, Lou? It's the most wonderful time of the year, at least for a couple of weeks. Go Vols. Yeah, Georgia and Tennessee play early this year. Week 3, right? Georgia travels to Knoxville. Wilkie says, are you going live a little early today to watch Lee's last headgear pick? Maybe. I'm on. It's a time crunch thing. This show usually doesn't end till 10:30 or 11, and then I have to, there's some things I have to do to get ready for the noon stream. But if I can start the stream early, I will, Wilkie, over on Patreon. Is it a good idea to straight bet Hawaii? I don't even know who they're playing. Let me look. I'm assuming they play late tonight. Hawaii on the road at Arizona. Arizona favored by 16.5. I don't know. When teams have to play at Hawaii, I like to bet Hawaii because of the travel. So the opposite is kind of true when Hawaii has to play somebody over here. Hawaii has to travel. And I just don't know anything about Arizona. I mean, I know they weren't very good last year. I don't expect them to be great this year. And I know Hawaii did beat Stanford, but Stanford might be or is probably one of the worst Power 4 teams on the planet. So I don't know. Also, just to point out how weird shit has gotten in the world of college football, the Hawaii at Arizona game can be viewed on HBO Max. For no reason. And I guess it's also on TNT, but weird times we're living in here with some of the TV situations that are going on. Kyle Jonas, why do you have two first names? First off, just why? Thank you for the super chat, though. He says, hey, Lou, do you have any bets for today? And go Dogs. Syracuse plus 14 is the only game that I have a bet on so far. I did some sleeper picks. The daily fantasy football, I took Zachariah Branch over on receiving yards, Cade Klubnik over 1.5 passing touchdowns, Garrett Nussmeier under, I think, 280-something passing yards, and Nick Harbor at South Carolina over on his receiving yards. But as far as the games go, the only bet I've put in so far is Syracuse plus 14. I like Texas to win. I like Bama if you can buy it down to 13.5. I like Clemson to win tonight at home against LSU. We do have a lot of good games today, but just like in most week ones, we also have a lot of like high-level teams playing terrible teams where the spread is like 30, 40, 50, 60 points. And I don't enjoy betting on those games. Now, sometimes that's where the best value is. If you're a professional bettor and you're really doing this kind of thing for a living, which I'm not, I do it for entertainment. Sometimes they like to find an edge in those types of games. I just don't enjoy betting on, some top 10 team against an FCS team and it's a 45-point spread. I just don't. That doesn't do anything for me. I tend to only bet or gamble on things that I'm going to watch. And like the Florida Long Island University game, Florida might beat them by 70 for all I know. But I'm not going to bet that game because it's just a terrible game. I'm not going to watch it, so why would I bet it? I don't know. So I tend to bet on the bigger games every week. Wisconsin left tackle played awful on Thursday night. Sounds like Edwards could be back for the Maryland game. Hopefully he's listed as week to week. Is that the quarterback? Did the Wisconsin quarterback get hurt again? They lost their quarterback last year early in the season, and during the stream last night, they were saying that their quarterback got hurt again. I didn't watch any of that game, but that's awful. I'm trying to think with Georgia. I mean, Georgia's had its fair share of injuries over the years, but as far as the quarterback goes, was it 2016, right? Was it 26? No, 2017? 2017. Jacob Eason was a second-year starter and got hurt in the first game of the year against App State. And that's when Jake Fromm came in and took over, and that was it for Jacob Eason. He never started again. And Georgia's had some quarterback injuries since then, but as far as like losing your starting quarterback early in the year like that, that's the only time I can remember that happening at Georgia in the last however many years, was that 2017 year when Jacob Eason went down. That was like the second or third play of the game too. Jacob Eason went down that year. But that's deflating as a college football fan when you have to watch your starting quarterback get hurt the first game of the year or the second game of the year. You know, anything early in the year like that, that really takes the wind out of your sails as a fan when something like that happens. I mean, I hate injuries no matter when they happen, but that seems like the worst there. Evan says 72% of the public on Tennessee spread, 94% on Tennessee money line. Might be a long day for Tard Nation. Well, I mean, I think Tennessee's going to win. I would feel extremely comfortable betting Tennessee on the money line. The problem is you don't win anything if you do that. It's minus 550, so you have to risk $550 to win 100 on Tennessee. I don't see the why would you do that? The money line. You know, they're such big favorites that the money line is at minus 550. If you don't know what that means you have to bet $550 on Tennessee to win $100. So you're risking $550 to win 100. I don't like to bet money line on huge favorites like that because you have to risk so much money to win anything. Thoughts on Notre Dame, Miami? I can't buy into Miami's rehauled defense until I see it. I think their defense is going to be a lot better. Like, I like what they went out and did in the secondary. I think their front seven is okay, but their defense was so bad last year, particularly in the second half. I have to see Miami play good defense before I can completely buy into it. And so that's the main reason I'm picking Notre Dame in that game. I also really like Notre Dame's lines of scrimmage. Now, Miami's offensive line is legit, too. I think Miami's got a really good offensive line. But, you know, Carson Beck coming off of of the elbow surgery, not real sure. Is he 100%? Is he 99%? Is he 90%? I don't know. Seems like less unknowns for Notre Dame. It does worry me that Notre Dame is playing a young quarterback and getting his first start here on the road in a top 15 matchup. That does worry me. But Notre Dame couldn't throw the ball at all last year. None. Zero. And made the national championship game. So it's kind of like the same thing I feel about Michigan and Bryce Underwood. It's like I don't have 100% confidence in Bryce Underwood as a true freshman playing at some elite level every single week in and week out. He's going to have some mistakes here and there. But Michigan's quarterback play was so bad last year. It's like, how can it be worse even with a true freshman? And it's not that Riley Leonard was a bad quarterback, but he can't throw the ball. So I went with Notre Dame, but I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great game. Corso is vax damaged. Yeah, you're a fucking moron, dude. The problems that Lee Corso has, I'm sure, has nothing to do with the fact that he's 90 years old and had a stroke 4 years ago. It's because he got some vaccine sometime. Holy shit, you're fucking retarded. Riley Leonard is from Fairhope, Alabama. Only 30 minutes from me. That's amazing. Notre Dame is likely to run the ball down their throat and wear them down, says Jackpot. I think that'll be their plan, you know. With a young quarterback getting his first start on the road, I expect Notre Dame's game plan to be run heavy, especially in the beginning of the game. Make Miami stop the run before you put it in C.J. Carr's hands, right? Uncle Lou, my birthday is tomorrow. Happy early birthday, buddy. Happy early birthday. Georgia will lose to Marshall. Well, like I told the other guy, you're too fucking dumb to have any money. If you did, I'd bet you on that. But you don't have $1 to your name. There's no way you have $1 to your name and are that stupid. Both of those things can't be true. You can't have money and be that fucking retarded. If a home health care nurse has to come Velcro your shoes in the morning, you don't have $1 to be gambling on the internet. I'll bet you, Lou, what's your Cash App? The Cash App is in the description of the video. I'll post it right here, but there's a 0% chance you're betting that. You're trolling. Low-level trolling, too. You don't have any money. And if you get your mom's credit card, she's probably going to ground you from now to the end of time. Jacob Eason, the man that Mark Richt was counting on to be his quarterback. Yep. If UGA actually lose, I laugh till the universe die. I'll take Texas if you want to. I picked Texas too. So I can't bet against Texas when I pick Texas to win. Can't do that. That'd be dumb if I did that. All right. Coming up on your last chance to get your name on the rigged wheel for today. We're about to start adding names to the wheel. If you sent a Cash App or a PayPal to help support the show today, then your name will go on the rigged wheel. We will spin the wheel, and whatever name the wheel lands on, you can make any pick you want today against the spread. And if you are right, I will send you back twice whatever you sent me. We're getting ready to wrap the show up here in just a few minutes. Lee Corso, last college game day. Yeah, I know. That's one of the reasons I want to make sure I get out of here at a decent time today, because I want to watch the last hour of game day today. So let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start with the start adding names to the wheel here, because I do want to try to get out of here at a halfway decent time. All right, I'm going to start with the Cash App. I will go through one by one and add everyone's name from the Cash App. Then I will do PayPal, and then I will check Cash App and PayPal one more time, and then we'll spin the wheel. So if you want to get on that wheel, it literally your last chance right now. All right, here we go. Up first today, we've got Sir UGA. Good luck to you, Sir UGA. We have Jacob R. We have Christopher J. We have Big Dog Eat. We have Jackpot. Boy, Jackpot, you were up early this morning. There's nothing wrong with that, sir. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right. Let's check the PayPal in that. What are we looking for here? What is today? Today is August 30th, I do believe. We've got Alan P. We've got Dale E. We've got Kyle O. We've got my favorite, one of my favorites, J. R. We've got Chris T. Oh, boy. Jamie P. Hogman. What's up, Hogman? Good luck to you, sir. Hogman went to the casino with us on Wednesday. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. I'm going to check it one more time in a second, and then that's going to be it. What's the best bet today? What do y'all think? If you had to put $1 on one game today, what's the best bet? What's the best bet today, Bad Dog? Bad Dog says, happy college football season. Tommy Fry's on me. Best college football channel on YouTube. Good morning, Bad Dog. Shout out to you, sir. I'm no NFL guy, but the Giants are going to have their best year in a while. Are they not? Bad Dog's a big New York Giants fan. He's an Oklahoma fan, too. Actually, Oklahoma and the Giants, both, I think, going to have the best years they've had in a while. We'll see. MC Carey T likes Bama minus 13.5. Bama minus 13. Bama minus. A lot of people like Bama today. A lot of people like Bama to win big today. I don't have time to do fantasy football, Robert. I used to do it, and I just, it ends up being a waste of other people's time when I join Fantasy League because I don't have the time to do it, to dedicate to it. Apple Pay? No. Cash App or PayPal? Thank you, Suplexus. I appreciate that. Kimberly Ashcroft says, finally the best season of the year, college football. Whoa, Todd. Whoa. Yes, it is the best time of the year. Kirby lost to Vandy and Georgia Tech his first year. Yeah, last year wasn't Kalen DeBoer's first year as a coach, though, dumbass. Kalen DeBoer has been a head coach for quite some time. Kirby lost to Vandy and Georgia Tech his first year as a head coach. Kalen DeBoer did not. He's been a head coach for years and still managed to lose to Vandy. So, yeah, I'm laughing at that. They lost to a terrible Vandy team and a very terrible Oklahoma team. Cry about it, bud. Stomp the ground and complain that you be undefeated in hypothetical matchups and you should have been in the playoffs no matter how bad you were. Seems to be working out well for you. When do you think Miami is going to start claiming ACC champ? Well, they can't do that. They can't do that. No. They've only come close once in 20 years. So they know they can't fake claim ACC titles. Joe D, what's up? Joe, what's the best bet today, buddy? What's the best bet today, buddy? Dylan likes Ohio State to beat Texas. Do you think Syracuse will be good this year? I have a hard time believing they'll be as good as they were last year. They won 10 games last year, 9-3 in the regular season. I have a hard time believing they'll be that good again. I don't think they'll be terrible. Looks like Fran Brown might be a pretty good head coach, but I don't know if they can repeat the success from last year. What's up, Rustin? Plus money line play. Well, Texas, right? All right, I'm gonna check Cash App one more time, and then PayPal one more time, and then we gotta spin the wheel and get out of here. All right, we've got Trap. Is that your name, or is that where we can find you? You can find me in the trap. It's going down. Is that your name, or is that where we can find you? Let me know. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Yeah. Where did we do? All right, there we go. Hoghead, Jamie P, Chris T, JR, Kyle O, Dale E, Alan P, Jay Shippus. All right, there we go. Jay Shippus. Jay Shippus in that. MC Carey T, just in time, buddy. It just came through. I got you. All right, that's it. We got to spin the wheel. All right, y'all know how this works. I need a number. Well, let's pick a name first. somebody who's not on the wheel. Let's do, well, no, Texas Longhorns I don't think can count. So we got to do somebody else. Go Knowles 45. What's up, buddy? Go Knowles 45. Give me a number between 3 and 5. Give me a number between 3 and 5. Go Knowles 25. No, Go Knowles 45. Waiting. About to call another name. Waiting around. All right, he's having a hard time. Bad Dog says 3.5. We're not looking for a spread here, unfortunately. All right, Amar the ATM says he'll do it. All right, Amar the ATM, pick a number 3 through 5. Pick a number 3 through 5. He says 5. All right, he says 5. We're going to spin the wheel 5 times. The 5th name will be today's winner. Good luck to everybody. Let's see if somebody can win some money here. Jackpot is the first name, but we're looking for the 5th name today. Jackpot, thank you for supporting the show this morning. This is the second spin. We're looking for the 5th name today. Hogman, name number 2. Hoghead, thank you, buddy. It was good to see you on Wednesday. Spin number 3. Looks like Christopher J. Christopher J., thank you for tuning in this morning. Thank you for helping to support the show. I sure appreciate it. Here comes spin number 4. We're looking for the 5th name today. Looks like Chris T. Thank you, Chris T. All right, 5th and final spin. Today's winner is... Can you find him in the trap? It's going down. Shout out to Trap. Trap, you're not a mumble rapper, are you, bud? Shout out to Trap. Trap says Miami. All right, let's check the current line on the Miami game. That's tomorrow night. Let's refresh the screen to make sure we get the most current line. He likes Miami plus 2.5. Notre Dame's a 2.5-point favorite. So Trap. Let's see. Rigged. I'm writing this down in my copious notes here. Rigged wheel. Trap. Cash App. Miami plus 2.5. Trap, good luck, buddy. I hope you hit. I hope you hit. All right, shout out again to Sleeper for sponsoring the kickoff show today. Download the Sleeper app now or sooner if you can. You'll be glad you did. Sleeper is the #1 daily fantasy sports app on the market. Use the promo code LOU, and they're going to match your first deposit, dollar for dollar, up to $100. Get $100 free, courtesy of me, Uncle Lou. Just use that promo code Lou. The link is in the description of the video. It's also in the pinned comment. Shout out to Sleeper. Go check them out. Make some money watching college football. All right, everybody, we have a great day of games today. I know y'all are all excited. I am too. Great games at all 3 time slots. I'll be live on Patreon at about 11:45 this morning. And we're going to watch all the noon games and all the 3:30 games live on Patreon. So that'll be Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, Syracuse, Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, and Marshall. We'll be live on Patreon from around noon to 7 p.m. And then tonight at 7:30, I'll be back on this channel live right here on YouTube for LSU and Clemson in prime time. If you're not signed up on the Patreon page yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? We have a great time over there. Come hang out. Be a part of the community. There you go. That link's in the description, and I just posted it there, too. We have a really good time. Hope to see you all there. I cannot wait. Great day of games. I'll be uploading reaction videos all day long, so even if you don't want to or can't hang out for the live streams today, make sure and check out the reaction videos uploaded all throughout the day. I usually do halftime videos, not post-game videos. It's just the schedule just works out better that way. And all of my post-game thoughts will be tomorrow on the Your Season is Over video, so check that out tomorrow too. All right, everybody. Week one of the 2025 college football season is here. We got 3 more days of games today, tomorrow, and Monday. I know y'all are excited. I am too. Let's have a great day of college football, and I will talk to you all again soon. Have a good morning.